Hi everyone, this is Kim from Expressions of the Universe, and today in this segment I want to talk about the elusive happiness, joy and contentment. How do we find happiness? What are the keys to happiness? Where has your happiness gone? Why are so many people in this world unhappy? Well, I've done a little bit of exploring and I have some answers for you. So how do we get happy? Well, I think the number one answer to that is take care of yourself. Think of yourself first and foremost, every day and always. Think about whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself into a good mood. Whether that's spending a few minutes of time or a few hours of time like me, in the morning by yourself, all quiet and zen, with my coffee and like in a meditative mode, or maybe it's eating some delicious food, going for a walk, doing something for yourself every single day. Showering is a plus. That was meant to be funny, but we have to set ourselves up for that joy and happiness, which is a good segue into happiness is a choice. It's a choice that we get to make every single day. Nothing external outside of ourselves can ruin our happiness. Can we get triggered? Can we get a little pissed off? It's some things that happen during our day, of course, but then we got to come back into ourselves and find that joy and happiness again. I know a lot of you could be saying, this is total bullshit. But trust me, I was the most miserable person in the world, I think. And I just got to a point where I got tired of being so miserable and unhappy that I had to kind of change that around. I try to find laughter in everything, and I try and find humor in everything, even like things that are going wrong during the day. I try to be able to laugh at these things or ridiculous people. That is also bringing me the joy and the happiness. And also, here are a couple things that I saved onto my phone. I don't know if you could see this. Well, first of all, I don't know if I'm wasting my time with all of you because you cannot talk caterpillar. Wait, what is this? You cannot talk butterfly language with caterpillar people. So that's pretty deep. Caterpillar people would be people that are wanting to transform, that are wanting to change. That's me. I'm constantly trying to make myself a better person every day. I am by no means perfect. Sometimes I will fly off the handle. Sometimes I do get into a horribly bad mood. Things can trigger me, but then I have to come back into myself and get myself good with me again and realize that all of those external influences are external influences. I control my thoughts, which therefore control my feelings. And if something is triggering me, that is a sign for me to say, take a good look at yourself and find out what is going on inside here that is causing me to feel this way. Nobody can do anything to you that you're not putting out into the universe. Nobody can make you feel a certain way. So when we say, oh, Jenny did this to me and I am so mad at her for making me feel this way. No, she did something crappy and then your brain processed it and it's bringing it down into your heart, and therefore your feelings are coming out. And so it's you that's making you feel this way. Now you can take a look at that situation and say, okay, Jenny did this horrible thing. I'm really kind of ticked right now. However, That's her problem. That's on her. That's the type of person that she is. Namaste, peace and love. Bye, Jenny. See you later. And then you come back into yourself. I have to do this all of the time because I am surrounded, I don't know about any of you, by horrible negative people all the time. They do shitty things. They say shitty things. They're always in a bad mood. And, you know, I'm feeling that energy. It's being put out there. And I have to kind of like keep myself in my little bubble. Often during the course of the day, because I do work a full-time day job, and this is where I'm encountering the majority of this negativity, I have to get up from my desk and go for a walk in nature. And I do it a couple of times a day. It clears my thoughts. It clears my mind. It puts me back in touch with who I am and what I'm truly feeling. I'll look around at the beauty of everything that's around me. That's one of the keys on my list, is try to find the beauty in everything. Even those shitty people, try and find the beauty in them. Try to find one good quality that you like about them. And if there aren't any, then you just exclude them from your life. Gratitude. I always talk about gratitude, how being grateful for every little thing that we have, everything that's remaining in our lives, is such a blessing that when we can find the gratitude in it, it will also help you find your happiness. Trust me, I do these practices every single day. I'm mostly staying within my own self, in my own realm, so that I can remain in a happy place. And if I have to, I'll put headphones in and play some really great music or spiritual inspiration. I'm always listening to music or, you know, great spiritual leaders to try and uplift me into a better place. These are all tips and tricks that we can all do to help us stay happier. And one other thing. I heard a really great sermon yesterday at the royal wedding. That's why I'm wearing my London, England shirt. And the preacher said, love is the way. And that is true. Love is the way. And we need to find love and the beauty in everything that comes across our path. So, you know, horrible tragedies do happen to people. People are truly sick. They have illnesses. They have losses. They have grief. I have had more than my fair share of losses, probably more than anybody I know on the earth. Do I wake up every day bitter about that? I do have a debilitating disease. I don't even think about it most days. Yeah, I could be in pain, and I still trudge through. I try to make the best of every single day. I do the best that I can do every single day, and I don't beat myself up for if I didn't do enough or I fell short. I don't do it. I know that I've done my best. Do I take a lot of naps? Yes, I do, because I self-nurture all the time. That is one of the keys to happiness, is taking care of myself first and foremost, so that I can take care of my family, I can take care of my dogs and my other animals, so that I can just live a good life. I make sure that I have everything I need every single day to be happy. I set myself up for success every single day. Am I in bad moods? Sometimes. It's usually a result of, you know, extra negative energy around me, but I still will work on myself all day long to try and get out of that mood. So you may be wondering what prompted me to do this happiness video. So I was listening to Wayne Dyer. Of course, I'm always listening to spiritual leaders. And he gave a speech in the 70s when he was first starting out about happiness and the eternal truths to happiness. And one of the quotes that he made was from Samuel Butler, and I may be paraphrasing, but it said, out of all the animals on this planet, all of them, except for man, live for the purpose of enjoyment and happiness. And I know that that was totally paraphrasing, but you get the gist. Because I think man is so caught up in so many external things that they're always worrying about, having anxiety about, getting pissed off and angry about, that they don't allow themselves that time for enjoyment. Yet, when you look at animals, that's really all they have the time to do, is to please themselves and make sure that they're well fed and that they're comfortable. And that's what we should be doing every single day, is taking care of ourselves. It really comes down to that. However, taking a look at some studies that have been done over the years, when I was listening to that talk about, from Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who was a psychologist, so he has a lot of experience in our happiness. More than 80% of the world's population is unhappy. And that small 20% that's left of the world's population that are happy are living in third world countries. So it really made me think about, wow, they have nothing, yet they're so happy. And nothing being on the standards of, say, Americanization of having everything. So it really got me to thinking, and it made me realize that happiness lies within ourselves. It's within our core. It has nothing to do with anything external. I mean, yes, it is nice to have a home. It is nice to have the conveniences of heat in the winter or air conditioning in the summer. But those things, if you didn't have them, you would learn how to live without them, and you would make the best of the situation. So something that I had posted this morning on Facebook was this, and I don't know if you can see it. And it says, happiness is not a possession to be prized. It is a quality of thought, a state of mind. And that says it all right there. That says it all. And also, too, what I posted yesterday, you can see that right there. It says, the universe is saying to you today, only you know your true desires. So make plans and take action in the direction your instincts lead you, and do what it takes to love, nurture, and care for your own well-being on all levels. No one is in charge of your happiness and how you feel about yourself except for you. So that's a really, really powerful statement, that no one is in charge of your happiness except for you. And so looking at the different studies, in the 70s, I believe the mental illness and unhappiness rating, so a lot of unhappiness comes from mental illnesses such as anxiety and grief and depression, sadness, discontent, dis-ease. And so back in the 70s, about 4% of the population was either mentally ill, not happy, dissatisfied with life. 4%. And now we're looking at about 80%. So what happened between the 70s and the 21st century? And what happened is that governments, first of all, are deinstitutionalizing. And I'm not really saying that I was a proponent of mental health institutions. However, we're not giving any care to, are people that need help. When we're grieving, when we're sad and depressed, it is very, very difficult to get ourselves out of that hole. And also, what also prompted me to do this happiness study is, in the United States, we are in the 20th week of 2018. Okay, so we have just lived 20 weeks of 2018. There have been 22 school shootings here in the United States in just 20 weeks of 2018. This is telling me that there is a huge, huge problem, and it's not the gun control as much as it is our mental health. No money is being put into mental health. As far as education is concerned, when I look at education, we are being taught how to do mathematical equations, to come up with scientific studies, to learn about history and language and art. But we're not being taught how to cope with grief, sadness, loss, depression, and something has to be done. Even in the home, we don't really discuss these things. We're not taught to be happy. We're not taught how to cope with things. We really don't have anybody to talk to. And that comes down to also trust, because people are not trusting of each other. We don't want to be looked at or stigmatized when we're feeling this way, so we keep it all to ourselves. We bury it down deep within ourselves, and it's causing a huge, huge problem here in the world. What else can I possibly say? And as far as like statistical numbers are concerned, so there were about 10 million people suffering from mental illnesses of all different types, or it could just be a blip of, mental illness. Not, I'm not discounting anybody that may be suffering from some mental illness, but, everybody goes through depression. Everybody grieves. Everybody has sadness. But there were documented about 10 million people in the 70s. Yes, the population was much lower, but it only amounted to about 4%. Now we have 65 million people where we know for sure in this world, or I'm sorry, this is just the United States, with some sort of mental issue, depression, sadness, grief, anxiety. That's 11% of the current population here in the United States. However, we're not putting any money into helping these people. A lot of times, if you do not have health insurance, or even if you do, you can't even get help. And a lot of people don't even want to be telling people, other people, strangers, their problems. They don't want to tell their friends. They don't want to burden anybody with their problems. So that's what really prompted me to want to look into happiness. And yes, it does lie within ourselves. We choose whether or not we are going to be happy. We make that conscious choice. But when you are in such a state of depression or grief, it's hard to recognize it. It's hard to know that something really horrible is going on, because, you get so deep down into that. We're not cognizant sometimes that we do have issues. And so there we go. And then you wind up with these mass shootings and killings and people just walking around dissatisfied all the time because they don't do anything about it. So that's really just why I wanted to talk about this. It's just becoming such a part of our lives. Unhappiness and depression and sadness, anxiety, that people just accept it. And that is not what our true purpose here on this earth, on this planet, is for. Our true purpose in life for all of us, each and every one of us, is to be happy and to enjoy ourselves. So with that being said, the one thing I want to point out is and I do say it in the blog, is how our sadness, our misfortunes, trials, tribulations, our limitations, our illusioned limitations are all celebrated and supported by the people around us. We'll walk into work and say, oh, I just had the worst day, the worst horrible night's sleep. I've done it. And people will sympathize with you. Are we doing this for attention? I don't know. I look at social media, it's mostly nothing but crap and people complaining all of the time, and it's celebrated. These horrible tweets that go out, they're celebrated. Just, like all this bull crap in life gets celebrated. The limitations that we put on ourselves. Oh, I can't do that because I have a hang up about being in large groups. I have a hang up about being in large groups, but I don't make excuses. I do say no a lot, and that is part of my self-nurturing. If my heart isn't feeling something, I am not totally passionate about doing something, I'm not going to say yes just to make you feel good. I'm doing what I can to make me feel good. Another thing that I noticed about celebrating is we celebrate disease. There are so many drugs out on the market. All you see if you watch television, commercial after commercial about all these different drugs. But what I noticed is that people love talking about their illnesses. Oh, and they get so excited like, oh, yes, I have high blood pressure. Yes, I have thyroid disease. Oh, I've got this. I have this and I have this. And, they love to talk about how ill they are. And I am of the mind of, let me see what I can do to make myself feel better. Will changing my diet or my exercise plan or getting enough sleep or drinking more water, will that make me feel better? Can I maybe get rid of this? I think people love to look forward to having something to put the focus on them. That's kind of what I think it might be. And then that brings them a little bit of joy and happiness. But when you're kind of focusing on yourself all of the time, it doesn't matter what other people think. And so maybe just give that a shot. Do some more self-nurturing and see how that does for you. One of the most important things that I'm going to end with is another reason why I wanted to talk about this is we have this collective consciousness. We are all connected. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Well, now with social media, it's down to about 3 degrees. We're all connected in some way, but definitely energetically. We talk about empaths, people picking up other people's energy. Believe it or not, we're all picking up each other's energy all the time. If you didn't know, animals can sense energy around them, human energy also, 55 to 70 feet away from them. So think about this bubble that is 55 to 75 feet jutting out from every pore of your being. And it's bumping into people all over the place, and you're melding with their energy, and you're pulling their energy back in, and you're giving some of your energy away. So when you are constantly encountering negative people, that is coming into your aura. That is coming into your little bubble. And so it made me think about wanting the people that I'm encountering every day to be as happy as they possibly can. Will they be watching this video? I don't know, but I know by me staying happier, that's the energy that I'm giving out. And so hopefully it'll go out and meld and touch more people. I try to maintain the happiest attitude that I can every single day because I know it will have a huge effect on the people that I encounter every day. And then that will in turn help me to be happier. by helping them to be happier. So it's all kind of, it's reciprocal. So if you do encounter me on a daily basis, or, even once in a while, please do your best to be happy around me, because I don't feel like feeling your negative energy. But I'm just going to stay in my little place of happiness, in my joy bubble, if you will. I hope that this helped to bring a little bit of happiness to your life. Now go do something fantastic for yourself so that you can be happy. If you have an obligation, call them up and say, hey, I can't make it. I need to be happy. Go take a salt bath. Go to the beach. Go walk in the woods, in nature. Go to a creek or a stream. I mean, that always helps me. What's good for me is not maybe necessarily good for you. And, but do what you can to make yourself as happy as you can be every single day. And I think that you will start to notice that the people around you will also be happier too. So thank you for watching. Bye.